Hello, and thank you once again as we gather for our midweek Bible study. Word to the congregation. The church council met. We met on Monday to talk about the reopening of the church. We came to the conclusion and we decided that the virus is increasing all around us, and especially in Florida and many of the major cities. So we thought it best for our members and for ourselves that we continue with our video worship and pray and continue to pray for an opening to come soon. But we will be in video worship for the foreseeable future. The council has agreed to meet every 2 weeks that we can look at the situation and make an assessment as to where we are and get words from the experts who can give us direction. So we will be giving you word about reopening almost every week, okay? So we want you to feel comfortable and know that we do understand your need and your desire to come back to church. But we want you to come and worship the Lord when it is healthy for all to do so. So I thank you for listening. As you know, we are in the book of Psalms. We are up to Psalm number 11. Psalm number 11. Very interesting accounts of David and David's life. And we'll see what Psalm 11 brings out about David and what message he has to offer us today in a modern world, 21st century world. The text, as I said, is Psalm 11, 1 through 7, all 7 verses. And the title is Stay Where You Are. Stay where you are. The message focuses on faith's promise. And David's word, and I say this every week, David is showing us how God's way then is God's way today for the faithful. The service we will be talking of, in today's session, we will be talking about faith's rewards. Faith's rewards. Let us pray. God, to whom our faith is allied, we give you our sincere thanks as we journey this life for supplying physical and spiritual sustenance for your work. This work in your world. May they both provide the strength needed to accomplish your will in your world. Amen. Psalm number 11. And it reads, In the Lord I take refuge. How can you say to me, flee like a bird to the mountains? For lo, the wicked bend the bow. They have fitted their arrows to the string, to shoot in the dark at the upright in heart. If the foundations are destroyed, what can the righteous do? The Lord is in his holy temple. The Lord's throne is in heaven. His eyes behold, his eyelids test the children of men. The Lord tests the righteous and the wicked, and his soul hates him that loves violence. On the wicked he will rain coals of fire and brimstone. A scorching wind shall be the portion of their cup. For the Lord is righteous. He loves righteous deeds. The upright shall behold his face. David's words for us today. Psalm number 11. Keep saying 1. Psalm number 11. The psalmist declares first. The very first thing that he says is, in the land where I might have taken refuge from my enemies. He's giving a clear picture of his life. Now a friend questioned the picture presented, advising him to flee like a bird to the mountains. A bird is a living creature. It is able to fly where it wishes. But a bird does not have a conscience like you and me. I must use my freedom with a deep sense of responsibility. David is lifting up to us today. I must not fly away from the problems of human life or bury my head in the sand like an ostrich, to flee, run away from trouble. Trouble has its consequences, David is telling us. There is a movement today that accepts the distant, far-away wilderness lifestyle. It provides, they say, freedom to an alternative lifestyle away from the world of greed, lust for power, and fear of war, nuclear and otherwise. Running to escape. David did a lot of that from his son, Absalom. Running to escape the enemy, a physical enemy, or the enemy, the pressure of life in a 21st century world could be the enemy. Running to some distant, far away wilderness does provide fresh relief. But David says, if a serious issue arises that needs the gift of organized society, you will reconnect to receive them. The responsibility you have opted out of. Now, such a flight from life can be tempting, even for the faithful. Peace from the rat race of life. It will be desired. It will be a desired goal. Peace in a troubled world will be the cry of humanity. The word dark does not mean ordinary night. It means the darkness of soul's despair. That is where the cry comes from. David knows. David knows that cry. So, the heart-rending cry is made by a friend who says, evil is all around us. If the foundations are destroyed, what can the believers do? This friend has forgotten. He's forgotten that there is a close connection between faith and courage. Cowardice reveals a lack of faith. So David replies, don't run from the spot or the experience in which God has put you. It is just there that you are meant to give your witness. David wants us to remember in times of serious trouble, and God's Spirit is not felt in darkness, the darkness that David describes today. Both the good and the wicked are being tested by God together. David wants the faithful to know and never forget that God is in full charge of your life. So David, the psalmist, assures his friend in this psalm. He assures his friend that God is alive and at work, hearing prayers, forgiving sin, welcoming home sinners, waiting for people to flee or take refuge, verse 1, in him, and not far away in some primal existence. That God is ruling his world, noticing and testing every little detail of human life. And he does so without favoritism. His test, if of the faithful, or is of the faithful and the faithless equally. Now, verse 5 presents us with two words. The Lord's soul reminds us that God too is person. God hates. David knew that God must hate thugs. He must hate corruption. He must hate kidnappers and child abusers. Those who greedily and violently take for personal advantage, like today. I guess the more appropriate word to say, God loves you, but he hates your sin. Now here in verse 6, David uses language or words that hit home to people of all cultures. David's thinking, he is thinking of Jeremiah 25, 15 through 29, describing God's wrath that illustrates the statement made in verse 5 that God hates not just violence, but he hates the violent person. Verse 7, the last verse of this psalm, verse 7 declares that we should not worry about the universe. David says, God can be relied on to defend the moral order. Then it contains a remarkable promise that the faithful will see God's dear face. Jesus let his followers know that early in his ministry. And he said, and he told them in the Beatitudes, that the pure in heart will see God. And he is reassuring those words of Jesus in our psalm today. David's words for us today in a 21st century confused world. Let us listen to him. David's words. Now let us conclude our session today with the Lord's Prayer. Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen. Thank you.